Okay. How to sell a movie to me if you wanted to in 3 seconds. Action movie about vampires starring Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Meagan Good, and Snoop Dogg. Okay, I'm in. What's going on, everyone? James here with another real review, and today we're getting into all of my spoiler-free thoughts on Day Shift. A huge thank you to Netflix for giving me the chance to watch this early in person, and I got to attend the red carpet premiere. It was a blast, but guys, you can catch it on the platform August 12th, so when you do, let me know in the comments below if you agree with me or disagree with me as you watch this review, because guys, a vampire movie starring Jamie Foxx as the vampire hunter, I mean, like, duh, I'm watching this movie. It's directed by J.J. Perry, who worked in the stunts department for John Wick 2 and Fate of the Furious, among other amazing action movies, and it stars Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Meagan Good, and Snoop Dogg. Now, the premise of the movie is actually nothing crazy layered. I mean, it is a decent story on paper, but we'll talk about whether it worked in the film. So let's get into the movie if you don't know too much about it. Day Shift is all about a hard-working, blue-collar dad who just wants to provide a good life for his quick-witted 8-year-old daughter. And how does he do that, guys? He gets his real source of income from hunting and killing vampires. But it is the world building that makes this movie a little bit more unique than your average vampire film. But before we get into all of my positives and my negatives, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you do too, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit the thumbs up button for more reviews and content just like this, guys. Oh man, do we got a lot to discuss this week, but guys, we're here to talk about Day Shift, right? So let's get right into my positives. And that starts with the action sequences, which are really impressive, and they might just be the best I've seen in a Netflix original film. At least the best I've seen in a very long time. This was incredible. It blew away films this year like The Gray Man, and I love the hand-to-hand combat. There's one scene in particular that is my favorite. It's the hive sequence inside of this house that just blew me away. All of the different angles they're able to grab, and the coordination with the stunts was beautiful, and you can definitely tell director J.J. Perry's influence was all over this film. And I like how each action sequence has a personality to it. In particular, the hive scene that we just talked about includes the Nazarian brothers, played by Scott Adkins and Steve Howie, and all the hand-to-hand combat and the funny dialogue in between. It just made for a nice time and actually a pretty darn decent, fun ride. Honestly, guys, J.J. Perry's influence made a world of difference here, but it's not just all about the action, and I get that you come to this movie expecting that, and you do get that, and a lot of blood, and a lot of gore, trust me, and more vampire fangs than you probably ever thought you'd see in your life. But I really enjoyed how much fun our acting ensemble was having with this. Jamie Foxx plays Bud, the father who's just trying to provide for his child and his wife, whom he's separated from before they try to make this eventual move to Florida. Now, Jamie Foxx is a generational talent. He honestly is just incredible. His talent transcends generations, and it was just really a joy to see how passionate he was about the film firsthand, but then seeing it translate into the movie itself was really cool too. He had some amazing one-liners, and I also thought that he was really amazing in between the action sequences. His acting does help to carry the film when it does sort of drag its feet when they're trying to tell the story, but Jamie Foxx, I bought his performance here. And then there's Dave Franco, who plays Seth, his union worker slash friend slash person who oversees him to make sure he's staying out of trouble. It's very interesting to see Dave Franco in this role, but man, Dave Franco really is great in terms of his comedic timing. He's incredibly talented too, and here in this movie, his chemistry with Jamie Foxx was pretty palpable. They just work so well in this movie together, and it helps that the film takes its time in introducing us to both of them respectively as they go on these missions. And then of course you probably heard me mention Snoop Dogg. Now listen, I don't look at Snoop Dogg and say he's an actor, but man, does he work oddly well in this movie. He plays Bud's friend Big J, and this guy literally carries around a minigun sometimes, and he has some really good moments. They're just so incredibly unbelievable though, so I really couldn't help but laugh. Seriously guys, I was just laughing at the sheer audacity of what they put on screen. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, really, Snoop Dogg? Come on down up. But man, it worked. It really worked. So I'm kind of surprised that all these elements kind of clicking. And honestly, watching this with people really helped enhance the experience. I got to watch it with my girlfriend, and I thought it was a fun time, and we both came away saying this is good. And honestly, that's the kind of film this is. It's not going to be anything great or mind-blowing, but it succeeds at what it's trying to do. Well, for the most part, because guys, we gotta get into the negatives here. There are some things about this film that made me kind of scratch my head. And honestly, it starts with the writing for some of our characters, most notably Meagan Good. She plays Jamie Foxx's husband in this film, and ooh man, I was confused that you bring on an actress with Meagan Good's talent to then pretty much waste her in a supporting role where you could have probably cast anyone else. That is not the formula for success. She was relegated to that side character, and even when she was given screen time, it was poorly executed, you guys. Sadly, again, they could have cast anyone else in this role, and unfortunately, they wasted her talent here. And it doesn't help that I didn't really care for the writing for our antagonist either. Now, do I think Carla Souza, who plays the lead vampire for this other group who's trying to, like, I don't know, weaponize vampires? Okay, no. I don't think she's a bad actress, but I don't know, the way that they wrote the villain here, it is so shallow. There's no depth, and again, I'm not looking for that from a vampire hunting movie, but man, it was really tough to sit through her scenes. As an antagonist, she was just pretty ineffective, and there was a lot of generic villain motivations, and the dialogue really was for the birds. Honestly, guys, I didn't care about her character enough in the end, so it made that third act spectacle not really land as much as it probably should have. And then when it comes to the story beats in between all of the action, I felt like the writing was lacking severely. There's just not a lot to chew on, and it didn't really capture me at any point, so I was patiently waiting until the next big action scene, and that's not good. It's not a recipe for success. And I mean, they even introduced Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who's gonna play Sabine Wren in the Ahsoka live action series, and she seems like a solid supporting character, but they just don't write the story beats in between the action well enough for us to connect to this character. So I'm almost sad that they did waste some talent, but the writing here is what makes this movie suffer the most. So overall, you guys, Day Shift on Netflix is a film that, well, it's not the worst thing I've seen all year, and it is accomplishing exactly what it sought out to accomplish, which was be a fun vampire movie. And that's honestly all you can really expect from this film. At times, I had to take off my critic's cap and think, all right, well, general audiences like this, and I do think that they will. Now, are there going to be some things in between all the action that you're not going to like? Absolutely, and I know I didn't. There were some story beats that felt out of place, and some characters that were misused and underused in some instances. So Day Shift hits the mark, but there's the other half where it just sort of, I don't know, it misses for me. So Day Shift is a good film. I would probably give it, like, honestly, I did have fun with this movie, guys. So I would probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5. And again, like I said, I watched it with my girlfriend and a crowd, so it really played better that way. But I'm really curious to see what a lot of audiences will feel about this film at home, without the roar of the crowd, the laughter, the applause sometimes when Snoop Dogg came on screen. But there are some elements to Day Shift that make it a pretty serviceable Netflix movie. I just kind of wish it was maybe a little bit shorter and the story beats in between the action were stronger. But guys, there you have it. That's my real review of Day Shift, again, which drops on Netflix August 12th. So let me know in the comments what you think of the film when you see it, and tell me, do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Or maybe you fall in the middle? Let me know, and let's have that conversation down below. And hey, if you haven't already, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the bell, guys, for more reviews just like this. I'm so excited for the rest of the week. I'm so excited for the weekend and everything to come in August, because even though we're coming towards the end of the summer season, guys, there are some bangers out there that we still have to talk about. Alrighty, y'all, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening. And I really hope I never get desperate enough to have to hunt vampires for money. That's too much.